folks. I'm glad you're here. Thank you very much for joining me today. It is October 3rd, 2024. Got a live view of the back basin there at Yellowstone, the North Geyser Basin. I want to give a shout out to all of you that have supported me through the years and supported me during this trying time of my daughter being admitted to ICU for a brain infection. Thank you so much for, the PayPal donations, the cups of coffee, and also for supporting me on Patreon. You can see here we got some dark steam going on. The recent events that have happened during the time that my daughter was in the hospital, people really need to be prepared. Verizon was down across the country. Yeah, we got probably close to 200 people that have died from Hurricane Helene. It's just devastating. When the cell phone service went down, my daughter was in the hospital during that time. Luckily, Facebook was still working, so we were able to text people about the situation that was ongoing using Facebook because, no cell phone service. I want to briefly cover what's been going on. I haven't been online for almost a week, but they're saying that more than 200 people have died across 6 southeastern states. Floodwaters carved up roads, knocked out cell services, and pushed debris and mud into towns. There's whole towns that no longer exist. It might have been about a week before many of these disasters that happened that a FBI whistleblower was before Congress making a statement about how people need to be prepared on their own for any type of disasters, saying that you should carry pew-pews since this disasters have hit in maybe North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, multiple states. The sheriff there in one of the towns, I don't remember what town or state, but is telling people, recommending that they carry the pew-pews with safety off because people are getting desperate. Many of us who are already prepared, we got our food, our water, our medical supplies, are not in as desperate needs as those who never prepared. He also, this FBI whistleblower, also recommended that you have 4 people that personally that will come to your aid in a moment's notice. And then all this happened. People think, okay, if there's a disaster, the government will come to my rescue. And once again, they are not. They are only getting into areas where the roads are either cleared or still, accessible. There's calls for helicopters, private helicopters, to rescue those up in the mountain areas. The windy, narrow roads have been washed out. People are putting signs out or painting or something in the mud, SOS, and they're trying to rescue people, these private helicopter operators. Some of the areas, the sheriff is telling the helicopter areas to get out or be arrested and don't come back. There's multiple videos on Twitter about this. There's evidently over 1 million people without power. Here's the map that shows power outage U.S. We got California, 16,926 as I am making this video. Let's see, Virginia, 26,221. North Carolina, 286,659. South Carolina, 368 plus thousand. Georgia, 266,000 plus. These are the states where you get your pork, your bacon, your sausage, your pork chops, and turkey. Just think about Thanksgiving coming up. How many of those turkey farms and pig farms are no more? Expect inflation. And then we also got the dock strike that's going on with the East Coast. Okay, Florida, 19,612. Going back to the live webcam, yeah, dirty, dirty, dirty. Many people never got warnings about how bad it was going to be for those storms. We got one little buffalo down here, kind of refreshing. I wish they would zoom in on it, but they're not. So if people didn't get adequate warning, an example, they said for people to stay home, stay off the roads, evacuate if you felt the need. But a lot of people didn't have any place to evacuate. They didn't have the money to evacuate. There was that one plant, I can't remember which one it was, that the employees were forced to stay there when a tornado, I think, came through. And I don't know how many died, but one life lost is too many. There's been at least 3 towns totally wiped out. Yeah, it's heartbreaking. Going back to the power situation, this is why you need to have backup power. If you can, with the economy, have some money backed up for the loss of work. Yeah, my daughter knows that all too well. Yeah, they didn't expect the inland deaths to be so high, and they're continuing to grow. Most of the news service is really downplaying what's going on there. They're not focusing on the coast. Even past hurricane warnings were mostly focused on the coast and not inland, hundreds of miles inland in remote valleys where the water would come down the hills and just take out the roads, take out the homes. I've seen videos of homes floating down raging streams that are now river. Yeah, it looked like a freight train going through water before it reached some sort of barrier and then exploded. One article I read about North Carolina, it said that emergency managers for both the state and individual counties sent repeated alerts to cell phones in high-risk areas before the storm hit, pinging all phones within range of designated cell towers. But there's multiple areas, because the signal is blocked by the mountains and valleys that never got those messages. The mountain's terrain can block the alerts from getting through. And it can also damage the towers, and some older phones may not even receive text alerts. People don't have the money for these new cell phones. They are very, very expensive. One area, I'm not sure where it was, but because of Hurricane Fred, they were going to put in a new siren system, which the county had purchased because of that storm. And it, a year later, it still had not yet been installed to warn residents of imminent flooding. Reminds me of cell phones that the Biden administration said they were going to put in for remote locations. They took millions of dollars allocated for cell phone service and internet and things like that, and it was never installed. Here's a Twitter post from Freedom News about empty store shelves at Target and Bay Parkway as the pork strike panic buying begins by locals in New York City. Okay, I mean, look at that. It's amazing. Yeah, you think the government's going to warn you? You think the government's going to come in and help you? You're in la la land. Here it says here, Camellia just told Americans they will be receiving $750 to those who truly need it for hurricane relief. Yeah, but we can send billions of dollars to Ukraine. And she also told some news group that Americans need to send in donations. $750 when total towns have been wiped out. Oh yeah, that's really gonna help. This here is the post I wanted to show you from Elon Musk. I can't believe he's actually following me. He only follows about 800 people, and now I'm one of those that he follows, so I want to give a shout out to him. Here it said, had the FCC not illegally revoked the SpaceX Starlink award, it probably would have saved lives in North Carolina. North Carolina would have 19,522 working Starlink kits available today after Hurricane Helene had the FCC not revoked in bad faith the grant that was awarded to SpaceX as the winning bid. I'll show you that image right there. The total cost was 17,422, $993.10. Yeah, politics over people's lives. They also got listed here for the cost for Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi, Montana, Nevada, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, Oregon. Oregon's really high. Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Tennessee, Utah, Vermont, and Virginia. I don't know if those were all revoked, or he's only bringing up about North Carolina, because they're saying they're expecting over 600 people to have died. Then we got the threat of war. Iran sent in over 180 missiles into Israel. If you watch mainstream media, you would believe that, the damage was minimal. But I have seen videos, in my own opinion. It's horrible. And then Israel is reporting, supposedly they'll probably, more than likely, do a counterstrike on Iran. We are in the beginnings of World War III. And then the United States, well, Israel is a NATO country. Is the United States going to retaliate against Iran? I don't know. Or is some other NATO country going to retaliate against Iran? And then we got Yellowstone and earthquakes. And yeah, you really think someone's going to come and save your butt? While sitting in the hospital and, really briefly catching parts of the news. They had cable news in her room, which, it's horrible. Cable. I like my Fire TV. And I was thinking, here I am in the hospital with my daughter. I told the director of the hospital I felt like I was in the Soviet Union, where you actually have to be there with your loved ones to make sure they got the proper care, because there was not proper care, especially at night. They wouldn't respond to the call buttons. They wouldn't respond to the alarms. Yeah, I did. I felt like I was in the Soviet Union. And it was a good thing I was there with her at night, because the things that she went through with the abuse probably would have been far worse if I hadn't been there. Many people believe that we are in the end times. I don't know. If we are in the end times, this is only the beginning of the birth pains. It's going to get far worse. And you need to prepare on your own. Remember Hurricane Katrina, where it took a month to get to the stadium where people were held up for help? A month. And now it's being repeated. Will it be a month before they get to the other small areas up there in the mountains? Yeah, you need to be prepared. And like I said, don't depend on any type of warning. Anything could happen in a moment's notice, like the cell phones going down, the storms coming in. Yellowstone, you have no idea if Yellowstone is going to go off and when. Any volcano can erupt within 10 minutes, no warning whatsoever. USGS has only 4 earthquakes for this area in the last 24 hours. The most recent was a 1.6 Thatcher, Utah. That was actually down here by Salt Lake City, the Great Lakes. And then everything else is, let's see, we got a 2.1. I don't know. That's way down south also. And a 1.8. Now that's closer to, Jackson. That's all they're reporting. I believe that it was this earthquake right here that they're not reporting. It's not showing up here at West Thumb, the data. I'm having a problem with the data. But it also showed up at Mary Lake, which is very close to the Yellowstone Lake. Yeah, they're not reporting this earthquake. We got multiple earthquakes that are marked in red. We got, let me go back to this one. Is that it? Yeah, let me go to the spectrogram. That was a deep earthquake. Yeah. Probably somewhere in the upper magma chamber, I would say. That one's not working. But they're not reporting them. Yeah, and then, let's see, I'll go to this one. Right here. Yeah, that too is the upper magma chamber, but not quite as deep. Yeah, let's go to Denny Creek. I'm going to make that bigger. Now, this is Denny Creek. I didn't download the data from Mary Lake because of so much data. I'm only allowed to download before it doesn't work properly. Let me bring this down. And this is what it was showing when I pulled the file. Oh, it's not going to show me. Yeah, not going to show there. Okay, let's go right here. I'm just going to jump around. And it's gone small on me, so let's go. There you go. Yeah. Slow moving tremor. Yeah. So this one at 4:50 Universal Time comes in as a magnitude 2.01. That would have been at 11:50 p.m. local time last night. Okay, let me go. I know it's not going to show me. I don't know why I'm wasting my time. Okay, there it is at the borehole for Yellowstone Lake. Many of you that do follow me know that boreholes are very deep. Close to 600 feet under the ground, so it only picks up what is happening under the ground. And that's the earthquake right there that it picked up. Okay, right there. And let's see what else we got here. Here we have the Toilinos. This is what's called a screw wave. It's an indication that magma is on the move. This is what it was showing when I pulled the files. And see, there's another one. That's a much larger one. Yeah, not good. You know, Yellowstone's been recharging for another eruption for about 250 years. You know that or I know that, because of the uplift at the two resurgent domes, which is the Mallard Lake Resurgent Dome, which is right here, and the Sour Creek Resurgent Dome. And you also know it because of the gases that are coming up from under the ground that are killing off the trees. All these trees grew up what they considered during a time of the quiet period. And now there's fractures in the ground that's coming up and killing off the trees. Yeah, you can see these trees were probably full grown before the crack opened up. And then the crack opened up and is killing them off. I just refreshed the camera. It looks like they're looking at Old Faithful. Yeah, there's dead trees. Well, you can't really see them because they haven't zoomed in close enough, but there's some smaller dead trees around this area here. So let's see what else we got going on. Yeah, more Torlinos. You can click on them all. And yeah, this is all fairly recent. This would have been yesterday on the data that I downloaded. See that? Yeah. There's the spectrogram. You can actually see the line of melt. And I've talked about how not all rock melts at the same temperature. But we got a line of melt here that's now showing up on the borehole monitor. Let's go down. How far can I go down? There it is. and there, and there, and there. So it looks like, yeah, it's kind of like pulsating, allowing the magma to come up. Let me go back down here. See that? That's a line of melt. We actually got 2 lines of melt. You know, the worst thing that could happen, because this is the upper magma chamber, if the upper magma chamber collapsed, yeah, and you would definitely have an eruption. Definitely. I don't know when Yellowstone will go off. Maybe one of the finales at the end times. I don't know. Only God knows when it's going to go off. I think He controls everything. But people need to be prepared. The government is so corrupt. You know, it's like they take our tax dollars and send it overseas and then don't help people here in our own country. You know, we got over 10,000 troops that we've sent over there because of the escalation of World War III that's going on there in the Middle East. And they're going to send more. The only person you can trust, the only person you can depend on is yourself. And if you don't prepare, you can't even trust yourself. Yeah, you need to be ready for any type of disaster. You know, Russia is threatening all these other countries that if we attack Iran, you know, they got that nuclear supersonic missile that can create a nuclear tsunami. Remember, I don't know if you guys have heard about that. They talked about that. They broadcasted about that. They bragged about that probably a year ago. So, I mean, you can have an earthquake that would create a tsunami. Look at that. Yeah. You know, and then when I heard about the sheriff telling people to carry their pew-pew with safety off because people are desperate there for food and water. There's people that need oxygen. They need their medicine, which had probably run out by now. Yeah, and they're saying over 600 dead, and you know that's, or going to be, I should say. I want to make that clear. They're predicting that there's going to be over 600 dead from that storm. And desperate people do desperate things. So keep that in mind if you are a prepper, that if someone needs food or diapers or formula or food for their children or even themselves, look at all the gang members. Yeah, if they find out that you are a prepper and you do have food supplies, what are you going to do to protect what you have so you can survive when the government doesn't come in to help you? Yeah. Anyways, this might be the only video I do today. I'm still exhausted from my 5 days in the hospital with my daughter. I got a lot of things I still have to do here around the house after being gone for 5 days. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just completely frustrated. You think that the doctors would help you. Well, unless it's maybe a broken arm or a leg or a splinter. Anything serious like my daughter's got. Yeah, a brain infection. Yeah, there's nothing they can do. They sent her home and told me that she's got to have her own body fight off the virus. Viruses, they cannot, from everything I read, cannot give antibiotics. They don't work. There's so little that they know about viruses. Yeah, she's got another appointment. Oh, probably about an hour and 15 minutes from now as I'm making this video, and I got a zillion questions. The doctor said that can't work her brain. No brain work. I guess that means no video games. She doesn't play video games, but oh, look, it's gonna go off. Is it gonna go off? Just rest and lots of fluids. Yeah, you got to get the vitamins in her. She doesn't take vitamins. She never has. I do. So yesterday and today, I gave her a handful of vitamins to take to build up her immune system. There it goes. Yep. Let's see how long it's going to go off. That was a short little burst. Let's see. The last time I posted a video for Old Faithful going off, it was what they considered a short. It wasn't very tall, which this one doesn't look like it is either. And it was for a short duration. Now, Old Faithful goes off for once about every 90 minutes. And I guess that would depend on how fast the water heats up under the ground, for how large of an eruption that it would have. Yeah, that's a small eruption. That is definitely small. They were worried a couple years ago that it was drying up. Not enough water was going into the system for Old Faithful. They didn't even know until maybe 5 years ago that all the buildings and the parking lot were built on top of the area that allows the water to feed into Old Faithful. Yeah. So you think the experts know everything. No, they don't. And the problem is the so-called experts don't keep up with new research. Nope, they don't keep up with it at all. They get their diploma and they think that's it. That's all I need to know. Not realizing that things change. New things have been learned. Yeah. And that goes with all science. Being it a medical or geology, space. Yeah, they're always learning something new. And they need to keep up with that new stuff. Oh, look how dirty it is. It's going dirty, isn't it? Yeah. Now, when it's dirty like that, means that the rock has reached a point of melting. See that? And like I said, not all rock melts at the same temperature. But we got rock that is melting. And that right there is not because of a shadow, because it's a bright, clear, sunny day, and it's drifting to the right. Yeah, we got rock under there that's melting because of the heat. It's not magic that's making the water hot. It's the magma under the ground that's heating up that water. Yeah. So what are your thoughts? Put your comments down below. Thank you once again so much for your help and your suggestions. Yeah, I got one note that I have to talk to the doctor about. It's called next gen sequencing, where they take the DNA of the virus and put it through their computer. I guess they put it on a sample of the blood on the computer chip, and they break down the DNA. So, yeah, it's an expensive test. It's like way over $1,000. But they would have been able to find out just exactly what type of virus my daughter has, which of course was never done. Yep, I already talked about that in my last video. Anyways, yeah, I hope to get everything that I need to do get done. I have over 2,000 emails I still have to go through. Yeah, but be prepared. Be prepared. We keep getting example after example how the government doesn't come to save you. Yeah, you can only hope that, yeah, maybe some private citizen will come in with their helicopter, or a private citizen would, you know, come and help you for maybe a traffic accident, or, yeah, who knows what, because the government isn't going to be there. Thank you again for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. and I'll talk to you later. God bless y'all. Bye.